Hello and welcome. Belle and I are live. It's been a minute. But thank you for being part of our Unlock Your Design audience. We've been really busy. We're wrapping up another immersion in our Venus stream. We call it Whole. And that's about to end. And here we are beginning a new year in 2023. So happy new year to you and yours. And I hope that it is already starting off to a great start. Even those pitfalls, even those challenges, it's all great data and input for you. And Belle and I wanted to come on to talk a little bit about the full moon that is happening tomorrow, called the Wolf Moon, and also about Unlock Your Design's focus and trajectory for 2023, and to give you a little insider scoop into what's coming for us as we are actually coming towards the official Rave New Year, which actually happens in transit of the 41, which we call the originator archetype. So if you feel like you're already getting off to a late start, January 5th, and it's just flying by, the week is already almost over, and you're like, what am I doing with this new year? Don't worry, it's not really the new year yet. And some people go by Aries being the new year. So you can go by the transit of the 41, or you can wrap things up, do your taxes, and then start in Aries season. So yeah, I'll pass it over to Bella. Why don't you kind of guide us into where we're going today?
Yeah, so many new starts and opportunities. And this is probably the first start. It could be a full start. So really when we still have the sun in Capricorn and several of the other planets that have been there, we have had Venus, who just went on into Aquarius. We've had Mercury. We have Pluto there since forever. A lot of those gates have to do with wrapping up, taking responsibility, creating structure, organization for when we are starting on the 22nd of January in gate 41, which is the Rave New Year, which is the new year in the Chinese calendar. And what we're going to see tomorrow is that we are looking at the other side of the wheels. If you have Capricorn and all these gates, all these planets that are there, what we have on the other side is the Earth and the Moon, so the feminine archetypes, and they are going to bring us into the deep Cancer emotional energy. And Cancer is the fourth sign of the zodiac, and it's all about our nurturing, but also our past. So this is an opportunity to look back one more time, probably the whole last year or even further back, and see what is it still that is on an emotional plane there that we can bring up one more time and get to work through, so that again in 2.5 weeks we are ready to move on. And I was saying to Ashley right before this that I was thinking about my 2022, which happened to be a year 9 in numerology, which is kind of that year where you think you have all the wisdom and experience, but still you can't see the light. And that happened for me when my dad died, and I was accompanying him through that process. And I feel that there are things that still, because I just had to survive that I haven't worked through. So with this new moon, with this full moon, where the moon is in its home sign, the first of the year, I definitely feel it's an opportunity for me to feel into some of these things, not necessarily collapse into them in the deep waters. It's not Scorpio, it's Cancer. So more just feel everything that's there to feel, not set a cap on how much I allow myself to feel. And then where we come out on the other side is that from Capricorn, we have tied up a lot of things in the structural, in the tangible. And then with this full moon, there's a lot of possibility for working through the emotional that's there. And I feel as well as we have Mercury together with the sun during the full moon, there is also this understanding and shining light on some of the patterns that can be mental, that can be emotional, things we haven't seen. So I feel there is a possibility for breakthrough and for blockages as well to allow us to move through a new portal that is going to allow us to do something very soon. And that's where Ashley and I want to kind of speak to you today, because we were going to start this series here, and then we didn't want it to feel like a false start. We really wanted to start with a start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now is kind of the time for, like you mentioned, that deep reflection. We have the moon in Cancer, which is, watery, feeling oriented. So like you're saying, whatever comes up needs to come up. Mercury is retrograde. It's here to be introspective. If you're trying to be outward articulating something, there may be miscommunications. And Capricorn is all about structure and discipline. And it's ruled by Saturn in the 10th house, and it's like business oriented. So I feel like in the way of the transit and the illumination, we want to move forward. We want to make progress, but the moon is kind of tugging on us. Mercury is kind of tugging on us. There's whispers happening within us that are coming from our mental landscape, but also from our emotional landscape. And before we can even move forward, we kind of need to reflect and be like, okay, great. Are you moving into this rhythm and trajectory and not pausing? Because then you're just going to repeat what you've done before. It's like, pause for a second, take that breath and inventory, and know that things have probably changed and shifted in you, outside of you. And it may be a little bit of course correcting that needs to happen. And with Unlock Your Design, we've kind of, we've moved from walking the wheel and doing these archetypes on this larger scale where it's like 1 through 64 archetypes, right? And then we kind of did this series where we were doing the archetypes in terms of what hub they were correlated with. And now we're taking this business focus, and 2023 for us is the year of business orientation and focus, but also it's 23. This is about simplicity. It's also the translator archetype, the 23. We're here to communicate and articulate something for you to utilize that's practical, that you can use in business. We want to take this business approach and standpoint so that you can know how to take these archetypes, not just do it for personal development and growth, but also apply it in your business. So Bella and I have been working on orienting with the rhythms of the zodiac signs. Bella's already started to do some reports where she comes in and she talks about like what's alive in the transit and talks about what's happening astrologically. And here we're talking about the wolf moon and how you can apply that for you right now, like what's alive. If you are not aware of what's happening in the energetics, then your mind is going to tell you where you need to put yourself and what you need to do. And you might be forcing instead of actually flowing with things. And then things will fail. And then you'll wonder why didn't this work out? Why didn't this happen for me? And generally it's just because you're kind of pushing against the natural flow of things. So it's time to like tune in and feel into that. And Bella and I are going to translate it for you so that you understand what's coming in Capricorn season, Aquarius season, Pisces season. What are all these seasons? What do they mean? I mean, how can you utilize these energies? There's allies and there's support for you. And we're setting something up so that you can feel like you have a roadmap for success in your business.
Yeah, you guys know how we love to synthesize and weave. And I've had people asking me for the last 2 years, because we have started to speak more about astrology. People are like, oh, does Unlock Your Design have a basic course in astrology? And we never did that because we don't see ourselves as astrologers. But we do know it's one wheel, and we're everywhere in the wheel, whatever gate or hexagram we're in, it's also part of the astrological wheels is going to be in a sign. So for us to do this as a mix where we're still going to have the archetypes there, we're going to have the business focus, which seemed to also be what people are asking us a lot about. When are you doing business by design again? And that's something we hear all the time. And now it's almost a year since we ended the last one. And then I do believe that if people are coming with us 12 times this year through all of the zodiac signs, you could say that it's definitely a basic astrology course, because you're going to know about the 12 signs. You're going to know about the rule, more than anything, the modern rulers of the signs. And then we're going to be able to also each time for a little bit to kind of zoom out and look at the bigger, not only where the sun is, but like what's in transit. And that's also what Ashley's saying. Hopefully this year, I'm going to have enough space to also for everyone guide you a little bit more with what's in transit. So that together, if you jump on to come through all the wheel with us, definitely I would say you're going to have a solid foundation of what astrology is, and learning about, what are the cardinal, what are the mutable, what are the fixed signs, what are the different elements, all these things that is a whole language in itself that now we are kind of using, and some of you love it and some of you are lost. But this is a possibility to jump on the train to not feel lost, because we're starting from that kind of basic point of looking at, okay, what's here in this in this sign and going through each of these things that I mentioned and more.
Mm-hmm. So what is Unlock Your Design doing in 2023? Like without all of the explanation, we're focusing on business and we're going into the zodiac signs. So we're going to bring back Business by Design. It's going to be called something different. We're going to be launching that at the end of this month. But what's coming up on the let's see, what's the date? I should have gotten that. We're doing something called the setup. And the setup is going to premiere on the 17th of this month. So we're gonna open with Aquarius, even though Capricorn was kind of in the beginning of the year. Aquarius is what kind of holds the container for the 41, which is the originator, which is the Rave New Year. So we're going to be starting this series. It's called the Setup Series. This is your 12-month business roadmap. And there's going to be 12 different master classes that we're going to host, where we're going to bring to you those archetypal energies, all the things that Bella just mentioned. We're going to bring those things to you. We're going to talk about the archetypes, but we're going to do it through a lens of business. It's going to be your business roadmap. And so there's going to be 12 of these. It's a big series. And the first one that we're doing on the 17th, that one's going to be $12. And anybody can join. You don't really need to have any astrology understanding. We're going to go into the things and bring in the archetypes that are activated and basically what the sun is activating. And we're going to talk about your allies. We're going to talk about the pitfalls. We're going to talk about the challenges. We're going to talk about how you can utilize these energies in your business. So this is definitely a business focused exploration. You can sign up for one, you can sign up for two, you can sign up for all 12 of them. If you sign up for all 12 of them, it's only going to be $144. If you buy them individually, it's like $264. And so if you feel like, yes, I want to take this journey, I want to get on this rhythm, I want to get on this pacing, I really want to understand how to utilize this for myself, how to set myself up for success, this is going to be the way that you're going to do it. It's a really practical roadmap. If you have a business or a soul-led business, you can utilize any of the information we're giving you in your home, in your business. Obviously, we're going to have more of a business focus, but you don't necessarily have to have a business to be able to come into this. We don't want to say, no, you can't come into this. This is definitely going to be helpful regardless, even if you are beginning a business in 2023. So we're excited about beginning this.
The other thing I want to say about business is what we have discovered through Business by Design and the other courses we've done over the past years. Business is really almost equal as soul expression. So when we're looking in a Jinky perspective, we are looking at the pearl sequence and we're seeing those masculine archetypes are the main archetypes that we start with, and we can add a lot of different aspects, but that's Mars when he matures in the vocation. It is the culture, which is Jupiter. It is the pearl, which is Jupiter as well. It's about expansion, and it's the sun, is how we shine. So when it comes to business, really, whether you have a business or not, what we are doing when we're saying business, it is the expression of the soul, because we have worked so much with the personality. So the personality is not all the time reacting or collapsing, and all of that Venus work and part of those main shadows that don't allow us to be in core stability in the activation sequence. Once we've done a lot of that work, then the soul can come through, or we could say the true self as well. It depends like how spiritual you want it to sound. The true self can come through, the soul and the personality can work together, and you're ready to express. And really how we are in some way role modeling with Unlock Your Design is that every day we wake up and we want to actually be role models or examples of speaking that truth, of allowing more of what we are to come through. And that's also why every year we have a different path, a different roadmap, because it's something new that wants to come through. We never do the same thing twice. So when we speak about business, to be understand that that is our authentic expression that we now are mature enough to bring through. And that also has to do with a lot of that deconditioning process. Or like, what are people going to think? Do I have to open another Facebook account to start speaking this? Like all these things that we have people asking us every day. Most of our coaching clients are people that are in a gap, whether that's more a personal gap, a breakup, a marriage ends, or that is you have been employed for many years and now you're starting your own thing, or you have been a mother or primary caregiver for a long time and now you have more space to do something different. It's not necessarily about the money. It's really about your energy, you penetrating the world with your unique, authentic energy. And that's also where in return you're receiving something that is more valuable for you than if your output is very little and not authentic. What you can get back is like to the level of that, basically.
Yeah. And if we're talking about penetration, we have the neutrino stream that comes directly from our sun that's already penetrating us. And it's important for you to know what is the information there. If you don't take the time to breathe, to tune in, to really understand what's alive, because it's coming into you regardless. These neutrinos are tiny, infinitesimal, yet they hold mass. That mass is dictated and directed by the sun and what it's activating. So right now it's activating gate 54, which is the achiever. And it's in the first line. And it goes from greed to ascension through the pathway of aspiration. So we're coming here live, bringing to you this business-minded focus. The achiever is definitely business-oriented, business-minded. It's going to have that pressure, that root energy to kind of like catapult it forward, to grab the allies that it needs. And we're here to tell you what are the allies that are kind of coursing through you. They want to be utilized, but if you're not asking for help, then you're just going to go on your merry way all by yourself, forcing into a shut door. And you're like, I can't get through this. Yes, you can't get through it because you're not tuning in and really going with the flow. You're trying to go against the flow. So we're going to have for you, let me post this or show you this really quick. We'll post a link for this. This is where you're going to sign up if you are interested in the setup, which is our 12-month business roadmap. You can sign up here and we'll give you the scoop for the additional ones. We're also going to send you to the academy where you can purchase the setup. The setup is the setup for Aquarius season is $12. It's $22 for the rest of them. This is an introductory price. If you want to buy the whole bundle, you're going to get all of the 12 master classes, and that'll be available for you. If you're already on our list, we'll be sending an email out so that you have that link. And then if you want to be in the know for sovereign, when we launch that, this is going to be our business alchemy and impact immersions. And they're going to take us through a good part of this year and next year. So that's something that we're really excited about and inspired about. And that's what Unlock Your Design's focus is going to be this year. And so if you're really interested in what we've been talking about, definitely go on and register for this event so that you can be in the know and know what is the roadmap for you to utilize. If you don't have the map, how are you going to know? You're going to be walking around blind.
Yeah, and as I'm sitting here, Ashley, I'm already getting ideas of the 41, and business is not necessarily about failing or succeeding. It's really the more times that we are going out in the world and anticipating and trying. That's in a way with entrepreneurship, that's the only thing we can really see. The more times you tried before, the bigger possibility for impact and for succeeding you have. So here, in a way, we're all in it together. The world is changing every single day, and what worked before it's not working anymore. So for me, it also feels like a joint discovery, and this is part also what I feel with Unlock Your Design. We are not always just teaching something. It's a joint discovery of coming in together, and that's why for us it's important of who comes in, because it's that co-creation. And me as a 4/6 especially, and somebody bringing astrology that has the sun in the 11th house in Aquarius season, like this is about doing it together, becoming a movement, joint interest, a vision, a mission for the future. And I believe that that's the kind of community that we are going to need as we are going into 6-line rally, as a lot of things are falling apart, as our individuality becomes important, but we are also a collective. So we are going to need to be around people that have similar values, similar visions, similar direction.
Yes. It's exciting. And you're going to go through iterations and spirals. Like Bella said, where we can't get all of the information right now. Things will land when it lands, and we're evolving constantly. And just like Unlock Your Design, like what we've done together, it just keeps expanding. We did Business by Design once. We've learned a lot of things. We're refining it. We're perfecting it. We're expanding it. And so it's going to be different. And every time we do things, it's different because things can't stay the same. They don't stay the same. You know, things are meant to be broken down and rebuilt, and things are meant to be improved upon. So I hope that you're doing that and taking those kind of measures in your own life, in your own business. And I know sometimes it's hard to let go of those structures that you're so used to. But when you take a moment to pause and really ask yourself, is this really serving me? Is this really serving my customers? Is this really serving my family? Is this really serving the world? You'll get that answer, and then it's up to you on what you're going to do with that information, because the universe is kind of calling you to evolve, calling you to expand, calling you to ascend. We're in the transit of 54. Like I said, the programming partner and our evolution is the 53. This is all about expansion, superabundance, and immaturity is, you are not growing. Businesses only grow when the CEO grows. You have to evolve, you have to expand, because at some point it's just going to collapse. Both the business and the person. It's an extension of us. And we got to do.
Now we are in the cross of penetration, like we were saying. So it's a lot with that conscious side with the 54 and the 53 of like, how are you going out in the world? But remembering that we have the 57 and the 51 in the radiance and the purpose. So our core stability comes from daring to feel into the form, not collapsing into the unease that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's where we come together. That's where we're daring to feel that agitation in the 51, the shocks that are there. But as we are daring to feel into the form and be with what is and orient that way, then actually we are going to be able to renew ourselves, to penetrate the world, to create together. So for me, that we're sitting here in the day of the 1-3 self-empowerment of the cross of penetration, that's kind of cool, because we haven't, like you said, been live for so long, and this is the cross and the profile that we are coming live on.
It's perfect. The energy just supports. All right, well, if you are interested, put a comment in this video and we'll send you some links. We're also going to send an email out to you if you're on our list. And we'll definitely make sure, if you're interested in all of this business focus for 2023 with us, that you sign up to our Business by Design list, so that you're going to be in the know of what's coming, whether it's the setup and maybe Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, all those different zodiac signs. We're going to have a masterclass for each of them. Or maybe you want to join our more intensive kind of immersion when we launch Sovereign, which is Business by Design 2.0. So if you're curious about that, definitely make sure you're there when we announce the free masterclass that we're going to be hosting. But other than that, I hope you have a lovely wolf moon tomorrow, and get releasing and celebrating. It's about harvest too. So look back, harvest, have gratitude, celebrate, go deep, allow things to come up, and we'll be set up for the new moon that's coming, where we get to set intention and plant some seeds. So thank you again.
Thank you.